You're listening to Burnt, and this is episode 13. Hey, I'm Lauren.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and some days we're burnt out.
And some days we're burning it down. This is Burnt, a podcast where you're not going to find us reading off of a script.
These are real, unfiltered, raw conversations between two moms, two women, and all of our friends.
We got a lot of friends, and we are all fired up and ready to make some change.
We're ready to burn it down, and we want you to join us on this journey where we aren't just burning it down, but we're figuring out how to fix it and rebuild it.
Because you got to scorch a little earth, controlled burn, before something beautiful can grow.
Join us every week here for Burnt, wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. Hey, friend, 13. That sounds like, I don't know, lucky, maybe, hopefully.
I like it. It's not a Friday, so that has to...
That is a good thing. Maybe. I don't know. I could go for Friday right now.
Right. How was your weekend?
Good. It's one of those times where you're like, what did I do this weekend? My brother came to visit for just like a hot minute, and I hadn't realized that he had not been at our house in 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He was like, oh, your family room's changed. I'm like, dude, like years ago. Oops.
Wow.
But he's moved, so he's no longer in the States. So that's why
Got it.
we don't see each other as much, but we FaceTime, so it doesn't feel like that. And we did, basketball 2 nights. We went to some Festival of Lights where we walked and froze our butts off. Yeah,
We have one of
that's
those.
it. How was yours?
Oh, it was lovely. Just a little ice shenanigans in
Yeah, a little tear gas,
Yeah, a little, just got tear gassed. There was definitely some interesting I guess drama or confusion that I've been navigating today that you and I just talked about, where I think there are people who are seeing that I'm posting about being in rapid response situations. And if you're not part of a rapid response network, and like the rapid response network where the issue is taking place. So this was in the western suburbs. There are a lot of different networks and that all kind of communicate across the suburbs, and the western suburbs were sending people to the to what was happening, and you always have the choice to go or not go, but then there were a list of needs of what was needed because tear gas was dropped on children. And so I happened to have all of the things that were being requested, and I stopped decorating my Christmas tree and went. And other networks in further parts of the city and suburbs, not part of our western suburbs network, they were told not to go, I guess. But our network was dispatched to go. So I think it's just really interesting that the way that these networks are working, and it's very grassroots. It's not like there's like one entity who's coordinating everything. It's all really grassroots. But the thing that I'm learning is to follow the lead of the people who've been doing this work and organizing for a really long time, and particularly I'm looking to the people who are most impacted and targeted. So I'm working specifically with not just rapid response in general, but it's like specific to the to this community that's being targeted. So I think it's just really interesting the way that it's all unfolding, and hearing how people are interpreting it. And
this is all new. Like, this is not something we've all been like, yeah, this has been going on for a decade. And
Right.
This is totally new to need such networks, and to not just need a network, but to need suburb-specific networks, and to listen to what those people tell you to do, and I think that online you see what you see, right? And when you just see it, but you're not in it, you probably don't fully grasp and understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And so seeing you at something like this, I'm sure that there are people out there who are like, oh, this woman is just showing up at this ice raid. Like, how did you find out? And,
Yeah.
who knows what kinds of theories they may come up with, but
Yeah.
you're part of this network that is asked to come and respond, and you're doing it. And, I think that people forget that we are average, regular, everyday people, but we are listening and taking instruction from others. So it's not that you would just go out there and do this. There's a part of us, and I feel like, I don't know if the right word is pressure, but when I post something about a politician or about something that's going on, there's messaging and whatnot that comes from others. There are staffers who can see what I'm doing. And so I know that I want to mind my P's and Q's. I don't want to, I can say whatever I want, but I also know that I'm going to not stay the line. I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but like, I'm going to show up in the way that I want to show up, but I also have in the back of my head of, okay, I have another podcast where I'm interviewing politicians. So I want to make sure that I can show up in a way that's best represented in both areas. And I'm going to also understand the messaging that is given to me, and that, we have this responsibility. That's the word, not a pressure. It's a responsibility to act appropriately and cognizantly, and to not just, we don't just do things off the cuff, like, this, what, I heard there's an ice raid coming up, so I think I'm
Just
going to
show
show
up.
up. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Hey, honey, why don't you come with me for a little Saturday afternoon date? We're going to
Yeah.
go to an ice raid. That's not happening. And so I think for many people who don't have insight to what's going on behind the scenes probably don't realize that. And
Yeah.
that can go as deeply down as, like, even within your own city, even within your own community. If you're not in the same, like, quote unquote circles or signal chats or rapid response, then you don't have an understanding of what's going on behind closed doors.
Absolutely. And if you're not, like, if rapid response is not your thing, like, if you aren't familiar with how this all, but you are an advocate in other ways, and you are showing up, maybe you've been to protests, maybe you did come and interview some people, or like, so people are showing up in the different ways that work for them. And I think it's really important that we don't try to police the way that other people are showing up, because you might not have a full grasp of their specific niche and what they're working on. So I have been involved in rapid response since it got bad in the fall, with Operation Midway Blitz, and and I am still very much like, I don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want, like, there was just something this morning where there was ICE was present at the courthouse where I live, and I got the message about it a little bit later than when it actually was happening in real time, because I was in a meeting, and I responded and I said, "Hey, I can get there. I'm not on duty right now, but I can get there. Do you need me?" And one person said, "Yes, go ahead and go." And then another person responded and said, "Actually, I think you can hold off. Like, they've left. It's not needed, but this, and this." So I'm very deferential to the people who are more entrenched in the work, because I am not solely a rapid responder. I am doing the rapid response. I am also interviewing politicians whenever I have the opportunity. I am also going to Washington, D.C. We're also doing this podcast. I am a writer, so I'm thinking about re-engaging on my Substack. I'm also creating content to try to make this digestible and get the message out so that people can understand what's happening. So I'm not just one thing, but there are a lot of people, all they do is rapid response. That is their wheelhouse. That is what they do. So I listen to them. I'm not going to just go rogue and show up somewhere without making sure that my presence is helpful, because my presence might not be helpful. My presence might just be like an extra person that isn't needed because there's nobody, like, save it for later. So I think it's just really important that we honor the different lanes that people are in as we move through this.
Well, and I think that we're seeing this year, at least from my perspective, and in the last year, you're seeing more and more people in this space.
Mhm.
And whether it is to be helpful or to garner the spotlight, everyone's kind of figuring out their ways. And I think the words content creator is kind of icky
Mhm.
because you think content creator, oh, like, look at me, look at me. And I know that for me, I want to be involved. I want to use my platform. I want to help as best as I can. But I've taken steps to go, okay, what is it that I'm good at? What can I do? And what's going to be most helpful to anyone who's listening to me or watching me? I'm not the breaking news person. I don't want to tell you the news. It's exhausting. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to pay attention. But what is it that I can do that's going to be the most beneficial and create content around that? And I don't even look at it as creating content. I'm like this morning, oh, let me share with you something that somebody said, over the weekend to me. And this is why I'm not following what that instruction was, to just sit and smile and put my head down and ignore everything. Like,
Mhm.
that doesn't work. It's not okay. So I think, considering there's so many different personalities and just people, and like, many of us, we're getting now access to politicians that you didn't have before. I was talking to my brother about this, and I'm like, did we even know the mayor of our small town growing up? Like, I don't know that we did, but I'm interviewing senators and governors and like all kinds of people. And that is just absolutely crazy to me, to have access to these individuals, to record with them, to ask them questions that I want to ask. And so it's a totally different world that not everybody's acclimated with either. So there's some growing pains, I think. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. No, I think you're absolutely right. There's definitely growing pains, not just in kind of figuring out how we all show up and what works for us and for our lives and like what our niche might be. And for me, the thing that I just posted about yesterday is I'm being told that I should niche down, that I should focus just on politics, that I should focus just on interviewing politicians and just on rapid response content. But that's not all of who I am. That is a big chunk of who I am. I've been really politically engaged. I mean, I can my gateway drug to political engagement was I was in 5th grade and I did a whole report on the 1992 elections. And then I did a project where you could pick like any person from history, and I chose the Kennedy family, and I did like this whole big thing on the Kennedys and politics, and so that was my gateway drug, 1992. But I've been really outspoken, and I've been outspoken privately, and I can't remember if I talked about this on our podcast before, but I had a blog during Trump's first presidency, and then a little bit during COVID, and then I stopped it. But that blog was very much like, I'm an event planner. Let's talk about like this cute way I celebrated my child's birthday, or like let's talk about this recipe that I just tried. And then it was like systemic racism, the patriarchy. Like I got like really intense, and people were like, "Oh God, like she's a lot." And the blog was called A Sugared Life. So it was like, we're finding the sweet spot in life. But then I was like, let's talk about Philando Castile, guys. And then I'd like go out into the world, and there was this golf outing I went to. I'm not a golfer, but like I went to this golf outing fundraiser, and I like I could only talk about um black men being killed by police. Not just Sandra Bland too. Like it was like that era. That was like all like, and I'm like, and we're at this fucking golf course. Like what? Like I just couldn't, I had zero chill. So this is not new for me, but it's also new for me because I am being a lot more direct and public about it. So I think that there's like this personal growing pain of like figuring out what your lane is, what makes the most sense, and also holding space for the things that make us fully human, because I'm not just a political nerd. I am not just I am not just this like passionate social justice advocate. I am also somebody who loves to get dressed up and go out. And I love to make things pretty at home. And I love to talk about the way that I parent my children in a way that's relatable so that other people don't feel alone. Um, and I think for me, I don't want to niche down because we've got to hold space for like our full selves. And when we get to the other side of the most intense parts of what we're facing right now, there's going to be something that we need to build, you know?
Mm.
There's going to be this world that we can start building and growing things when we're not just constantly on the defense trying to protect people. And I'm really excited about that part. And everything I do now, I'm thinking about, okay, I just posted 2 reels about ICE dropping tear gas and how terrifying that was because it's important for people to see. But I want to also post about what we're going to build and how people are coming together right now and what are the beautiful things that you can see. Like, I just think all of it is important. We're not one note,
Hmm.
and we need to be able to step into that.
I love the people. I love the support that I have seen. Like, it's brought you and I together. I feel like my text messages, like, it's not just DM stuff. Like, one of my favorites is Ricky, the gay liberal who we all know and love. And I can just text him something and be like, oh, hi, what about this? Have you seen this? And oh, I just posted this. And he's like, I know, it's fabulous. I love it. And I'm like, oh, but then over the weekend, I got a DM from a woman here in San Jose who I met during our mayor's campaign years ago. We ended up being in a photo shoot together with him, with our kids, and we keep bumping into each other. And she has recently followed me. And so she met one of our gubernatorial candidates last week. And she goes, so I'm going to put you on a text thread with his team. Okay.
Perfect.
And I went, okay. And she goes, and then I met, there's another congressman. And I already sent him your Instagram, but I'm going to connect you too. Okay. And I'm like, this is what it's all about. These
Yeah.
connections where people are helping people. And I know it's not happening everywhere. And I know that, I'm not naive to the negative that goes on, but the people who want to help, they far outshine those who aren't helping, who aren't supportive, who want to be negative Nellies, who are like, why you and not me?
Mm,
Um, because that's out there.
yeah.
That people are like, well, how come Lauren and Michelle have a podcast? Because we turned our mics on and we hit record.
Literally.
Like literally, that's all you have to do. How come you have followers? Because I posted content. Like,
Mhm.
if you want that, you can go ahead and do that work because it's hard fucking work. It is
Yeah.
not all glam. There's no glam. It's not all glam. There's no glam. There's zero glam, friends.
Mm-mm.
It's no fun. I mean, it's fun. It connects us, but it's work. And people forget that it's work. I went on a rant last week about, um, like Mel Robbins and Erica Kirk getting
Yeah.
stages, getting sponsorships. They're so big because there's money behind them. Where is the money to go behind the smaller people? The smaller people who have audiences that are so engaged that ChatGPT is like, what's your open rate? That's incredible. Yeah, I know, chat. I know.
That's amazing.
But we
I
need to focus on that instead of the garbage that's being spewed by 2 women who are telling you to A, forget your career, focus on babies while I focus on my own career, and B, oh, let them be racist bigots. It's okay. No. Let's
Nope.
focus on the good and let's put money behind them. Rant.
Absolutely. Amen. That's a good rant. Well, and I think the other thing too that I've been hearing here and there is that there's this idea that because women right now are leading the revolution, I think, the resistance. Like women are at the forefront of this, and it's moms mostly. Um, and and I hear that people think we are incapable of operating in a way that is healthy and respectful of each other, and that there's just naturally going to be cattiness and talking behind other people's backs, and it's going to turn into this like big, ugly, negative thing. And I wholeheartedly believe that that is not true. That is a misconception, and anybody who plays into it is a big red flag for me, because if you think, and maybe it's not that they are a red flag, maybe it's that they just haven't had the opportunity to see women working together in a way that's healthy and respectful. So they don't know it exists. But I've seen it, and I hold that really dearly. And I am I am very protective of that. So if there is anybody who's coming into a space with me and they aren't able to participate in a way that's respectful and doesn't turn into like a catty mean girls situation, then that's not somebody that I can participate with. But I think because of the way that we have all been raised as women in America, I think most of us have not experienced healthy women relationships professionally or personally. And so it is, of course, we're going to think that that's just how it is. And we're just going to play the game, and like, this is what you have to expect. And don't be so sensitive, and don't take that to heart or make it a bigger deal than it is. No, it doesn't have to be like that. We get to create the types of environments that we want to exist in. We get to create the working relationships with people that respect us and cheer us on, and don't come into it with like a weird well, you have access to that and I didn't get access to that. Like there I know it to be true that we can have these kinds of healthy relationships. I know that supportive female relationships exist, and
Mhm.
that is the standard. I have high standards. I have very high standards, and if that makes me a bitch, it makes me a bitch. But
I think
my
it's
standard.
boundaries. I think it's boundaries, and I think it's therapy. And eh, there are those women do exist. They do. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat it. And I've had plenty of collabs that have burnt me up and burnt me down. And it's figuring out that, I'm going to set that boundary and we're good. And I'm going to move on. And I know who you are. You showed me your colors. Thank you. I gotcha. I moved on, and I'll find better next time.
Yeah.
And it's really about, like you said, creating your own boundaries, your own space, your own relationships, but then making sure that you show up as that person too. I think about that too. Like, what kind of a friend do I want? I need to be that type of friend. So, do I hope that somebody's going to text me and check in on me when they're thinking about me? Yeah. So what am I going to do about that? I'm going to send a random text and just say, I'm thinking about you. That's all.
I love
And
that.
and so that's truly, I'm truly trying to make sure that I do that when someone pops in my head. I'm like, oh, I should tell them I was thinking about you. I did that over the weekend. There was someone that I followed for a while in my Instagram feed finally showed up and I'm like, oh yeah, where's she been all this time? And I loved her post and I commented, and then I sent her a DM and I'm like, you know what? I need more of you. Like, this really lit me up and it made me happy. And I just wanted to tell you that. And she's like, oh, thanks. Like,
That's
do that.
beautiful.
Just be that person. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, I got a thanks. Like, just go do that. It's not hard. Go be the nice person.
Absolutely. Because it's not what we're facing right now is not all about, it's not all about the political piece of it. It's not all about protecting our neighbors. It is those things, but it is also about building community and imagining what we want this to look like. I don't want to go back to the way it was before. I like, if we're burning it down, and if all of this is just getting scorched, then let's build something that is, I mean, I get really excited thinking about the possibilities of what we could build and what this could look like, and the communities that we can create. And I think it's that piece that I refuse to believe that the status quo, it just is what it is and we have to get used to it. I refuse to accept that. Um, and again, if my standards are too high, then okay, my standards are too high. I have high standards when it comes, because, and I know you do too. Like we've dragged ourselves through some shit. Like there have been relationships with people we have cared deeply about and still do care deeply about that maybe we can't engage in that relationship anymore. And for me, what I'm really struggling with and have yet to totally figure it out is how do I show up right now with family and friends who look at what I'm doing and they think, wow, she's way too much and like this is ridiculous and I like no thanks. Like how do I engage with people who don't respect what I'm doing? Um and I don't know how I don't know how to do that yet. Um
For me, it's surface level.
yeah.
Now it's just going to be surface level.
Yeah.
So if it's too much, you don't like it,
Mhm.
then it's, hey, how's it going? We're good. That's it.
This actually brings us back to Mel Robbins, though, because Mel Robbins, there was just this piece about how she wrote, I don't have it in front of me, but she basically wrote that people who have built boundaries and go no contact or low contact with their parents or other family members, that that's too much, that they should just at the expense of their own mental health and well-being just suck it up and like make nice for the holidays. And I think that is yet again people of our generation being asked to carry a burden that's not ours to carry when the other people in our lives are choosing to not change and to cause harm. And maybe they don't think that they're causing harm, but it just I think I think Mel Robbins herself is causing harm with those types of statements.
Oh, let's be honest. If we were to have a looking glass into her house, I
Yeah.
would bet that her husband and her daughter would like to have no contact with her, just based on her book, based on her lack of acknowledgement of her daughter co writing the book, based on the way she shit talks her husband in the book. This is probably her little love letter to her family saying, let me just be a shyster to all of you and just live with it. That's how I feel.
Listeners, if you're not watching the visual of this, as Michelle just went down that soapbox, I was casually sipping my tea because that was well done. That was, yep, exactly that. I mean, I think you're probably right. I hadn't thought about that part.
Yeah, she's a shyster. She steals content. Have you read Let Them?
No, but I know the
Okay, I borrowed
concept.
it from the library because I refuse to give
Yeah,
this ding dong money.
same.
And from the get go, I was like, there's something off. I'm not a fan. I'm not liking it. And there's a paragraph that I had screenshot and I sent to a friend who was reading the book at the same time. And I sent it to another friend who also had questions about Mel. And it says that in the beginning, she came to San Francisco or something. She was at a conference and she liked what the speaker was saying. So she took it for her own and made a whole career out of it. And she encourages all of us to do the same because if we just kind of put a twist on it and make it our own, then it's our own. Everybody's doing it. Everyone's using the content of others and just making it their own. So why not you? Uh,
Wow.
no. Okay. As somebody who has created stuff from scratch,
Yes.
and I mean from scratch, not just my book that I've written, but I had this whole thing about podcasts being a dinner party and how a host invites you to their home and it's for dinner and the dinner is the interview. I did this whole analogy. I came up with it on my own, only to hear a former employee go on a podcast and use it as her idea.
What?
Yeah, I called that shit out. That
No.
is not cool to take someone's idea and then portray it as your own. So I don't agree with that at all. And I do know that there are many things that, yes, they are out there. And, like for me to say, oh, repurposing a podcast, that's original. It's not original. It's literally what you should be doing. And every podcast host should be doing it, blah, blah, blah. But the way you can say it can be completely your own. But to
Mm.
say, like, I invented repurposing your podcast, that would be funny. Or I invented hosting a podcast or guesting on a podcast. No, I didn't. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you
Yep.
can't steal shit like a really particular idea and then say it's your own, market off of it. Like, let them, not her idea, not her poem, but she stole it.
So as we have gone down this rabbit hole, I immediately am thinking of Rachel Hollis.
Oh, God, I can't stand her.
And so the big thing that comes to mind with Rachel Hollis is that she plagiarized Maya Angelou. Like, don't Maya is an icon. Like, you can't. And then there was a whole thing where she was talking about how she's not racist because she loves the woman who cleans her toilets.
And she talked
And
about tomatoes or something, like in the
it
same sentence.
Ooh. So I actually just plugged in Rachel Hollis plagiarism, and there are a lot of hits, a lot of examples. But I think that is, I mean, it's these people who use they use the ideas of others, but then I think that they're doing that from a place of deep insecurity and lack within themselves. And so they start scrambling and they don't think anybody's going to catch on, or if they just like adjust it enough. And the thing that's kind of parallel to this is there's an influencer right now. I think she's mostly on TikTok. She might be on YouTube. Her name is Jaclyn Hill. Have you heard? She's not somebody that I follow. I am like vaguely aware of her, but I don't really know her content. I think she started out as a makeup beauty content creator, but she has been dropping in her engagement on TikTok. So therefore, she's not making money off of it in the same way she used to. So she posted something a few days ago where she was like, hey guys, why is my engagement down? Why aren't you like, I think it's the app. Could you please engage with this? The app is suppressing my content. And all of these comments are like, no, girl, it's not the app. It's the fact that in this economy, we don't want to watch you do these massive unboxing of like Gucci bags and show us your entire cabinet of Stanley cups and like this consumerism excess bullshit. We don't want that. You're just out of touch. It has nothing to do with the app. It's we don't want what you're selling us. And I think that comes back to the ickiness around the concept of being a content creator. Where I draw the line between that is an influencer versus content creator. I think what you and I do is we create content because we're trying to educate people and not be preachy in a way where it's like we're gatekeeping information. We're talking as regular humans. Influencers are trying to influence you to buy a product. They are trying to influence you to purchase something that they get a cut of. And I think that that is where people in this environment right now are really just prickling. I know you don't like the word authenticity, but it's so inauthentic.
Yeah.
Because they're like, look at this coffee mug. Like, this is why. And like, then, and it's like, let me do the ASMR. And I think people are sick of the bullshit. And that's why I do like the word authentic, because that's what I want to see. I want to see somebody who's talking to me like a human and showing me that they are an actual human and not just performing what they think a human might do.
I love that people are finally calling it out because I've been there's been a lot of times where I'm calling it out to my husband and he's like, why don't you just call it out online? I'm like, because I have a business to protect. And especially if it involves a podcast host, I'm like, I have clients who want to be on that show. So I kind of have to mind my P's and Q's of what I say to a certain extent. But like in what you're talking about with people not wanting to see Gucci bags, like right now is the time for gift guides. And let me just tell you, One popped up this weekend, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, really? This skirt that you have in your gift guide that you were wearing in your post cost you $500? How many of us do you think just throw $500 down for a skirt? Not me. No, go to my stories. And maybe I need to make this a post. Today's outfit of the day, friend, Costco, head to toe, glasses down to my socks, down to my slippers. It is Costco all the way. So maybe I'm going to create a gift guide on what to buy at Costco, where we can actually afford shit. Not $500 dresses, but $797 sweaters. Okay?
I love this. Yes. I think that what people want to see is they want to see what can they afford and how can you okay, I love luxury, but I don't live a luxury lifestyle, but I have worked adjacent to luxury for so long that I mean, it's lovely. Like it is absolutely lovely when you get to experience it. Um, However, I think what we have to do and what I've been trying to do, and kind of what I did with my blog back in the day, is how can you create a luxury experience without having to spend a bajillion dollars?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that look like? To me, it always comes back to service is a thing that you feel and experience with luxury, but also with connecting as a human. So like that's like a human overlap to what I think people resonate with luxury. And also I think that there are elements to I want to know that people who created this product are being paid a livable wage. And I want to know that this is done in a way that's sustainable or as sustainable as possible. Like, I want to know that this is ethical, what I'm consuming. That's something that I think people assume comes with luxury. But there are ways to do it that don't break the bank. And I've been living in that world for a really long time where I kind of had to fake luxury so that my clients would hire me because people don't want to hire a wedding planner or an event planner who can't necessarily afford to hire themselves. So you have to fake it. And I've learned ways of living in that environment. However, I think the cheat code is not faking being affluent and being able to live in that luxury world. That's not the cheat code. The cheat code is just recognizing somebody as a human. Like it all comes back down to that. It all comes back down to everybody wants to be seen, and it shouldn't be a luxury to be seen and to appreciate the humanity in each other. That's not a luxury. That's
Mm-mm.
just that's what we're building on the other side, where you shouldn't have to be rich just to be seen as a human.
And if you're rich, you should still see humans. I worked with a lot of wealthy and famous people, a lot. And the ones who are the kind ones, who say please and thank you, who look you in your eye, they're the memorable ones. And so are the ones who suck. Like I remember 20 years later, who was nice, who said, you know what, don't touch my bags. I'm going to get my bags. Go talk to my wife. Go say hi to her.
Mm.
And that meant a lot to me. And I remember that because that was my job. My job was to come and to greet your plane and what can I do for you? And I'll take this for you. And that was my job. But then to have someone famous go, oh, no, please don't. Go say hi to my wife. She's had a long flight with me. Okay. Yes, please. There was a clip recently with Obama. I don't know if you saw this popped in my feed where he talks about the very wealthy people and how we want to sit at these tables. And then if we get at these tables, we're like, oh, I don't belong here. He goes, sit at those tables because you're going to realize that they're not all that.
Yeah, none of them actually belong there. Yep.
A
I'd
good
rather have
lesson.
my Costco table, like everybody cozy sitting around it. Um, no, I think there is so much to be said for that. I can tell everything I need to know about a person, how they interact with service staff,
Oh, yeah.
frankly. And I see it at weddings. And I think about this a lot. I have past clients who, oh, am I going to go down this rabbit hole where I start talking shit about former clients? But
We have 8 minutes, so
yeah, I'll keep it tight. But I think that there are people who would bark at wait staff, not make eye contact, and treat you like you are subhuman, like you are less than just because you're in a service role, and berate you for things that have absolutely no reason, like they don't rise to the level of, like, one former client, it was a mother of a bride who yelled at me and would not stop blowing up my phone. I had to eventually like block her phone number, because she was so angry that I placed a 4x6 picture frame in front of an 8x10 picture frame, and that I had like staggered them to have the smaller picture frame in front of the larger picture frame. But her anger was the smaller picture frame was the groom's family and the larger picture frame was her family. And she didn't want his family to be perceived as having priority to her family.
even though she was the bigger picture.
Correct.
Cool.
It
Maybe
was
she
that.
should have given a different picture.
Well, and she gave the larger picture on purpose because she wanted to make sure that the bride's family was prominent. And and for weeks and weeks and weeks, I was getting harassing phone calls, and like she yelled at me the day of the wedding, and this was never an instruction. It was just something I was supposed to know. And even if I did know it, imagine that that's the thing that makes you mad. Like that's the thing that you have to hyper focus on so that you can't be present in your child's wedding. Like
There are
it
deeper issues there.
correct. So maybe that's part of why I have absolutely no patience for bullshit. I basically had an entire career to manage other people's bullshit. And there's a small handful of people who I worked for as their wedding planner, who I still am in touch with, who I still would like to go hang out with over a cup of tea or a glass of wine. That is a very small number. And I could probably count them on one hand. So out of 500 weddings, like that, it's maybe 5 people that I really would enjoy to spend time with now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so maybe that's why my standards are high. No, we're not taking that energy into.
We're not lowering them.
No, we aren't.
No.
Nope.
They're
That's what
only
we're
going to
putting
get
down.
bigger and better than they are now. So watch out. You might want to join us now before we increase the standards.
Standards are high. But also like the bar is on the floor. The standards aren't that high. Like really, we're talking about respect people. Like don't be an asshole and don't talk about people behind their backs, and don't like I mean like the really like the bar is on the floor.
It is.
What
And
are
yet
your like what's your bar? What are your boundaries?
just be kind. Like, just be fucking kind. Like, it really doesn't get much simpler than just be kind. Just, if you don't have something positive to say, shut up. Like, like, honestly, if you can't be like the other day, someone told me, I said what I had on my plate for the next 2 weeks because my kids are going to be on vacation, and I shut down. Like, I do not do podcast interviews during those 2 weeks. And I said, so I have a lot I have to get done. And the person goes, you won't get it done. I was like, wow, appreciate you. Thanks for that positive energy that you're feeding me. Take
Right.
that back with you. Like,
Yeah.
that's not kind. That's not helpful. So just show up. Like, you don't have to do the unspoken or the unasked, but just show up.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Just check in with people. I think it's a bare minimum, like you said. If someone pops in your mind, say hey. If you see someone who's got a really cute sweater on, say I like your sweater. I,
Yes.
I really think it's not hard to be a nice, kind person. And yet,
Absolutely. Well, and I think there's also the going back to the idea of people thinking that we're too much. One of my favorite phrases is If I'm too much, then go find less. Go
Oh,
find less. Like, I guess that's kind of let them, but I didn't come up with it. I'm not going to take credit for it.
I like
Like,
that though.
go find less. If I am probably too much for a lot of people. Okay, go find less. And then that's where I guess we come to surface level. I can do small talk, but it's actually small talk has become incredibly exhausting. I would rather do deep, meaningful, connective conversation than small talk. Small talk makes me feel like I want to scoop my eyeballs out with a fork. Like,
Like, how's the weather? That's when you know it's a good one. You're like, oh, it's cold
Mhm.
here, huh? Okay, we're
Yeah.
good. I think we need a graphic of if we're too much, go find less. Can we do
Yeah.
that and collaborate on it?
I need to figure out who said it originally because I don't
We'll
want to
find it.
steal the yeah. But there's even a song that says "Go find less." Um. But I've even gotten to the point where like I know if someone thinks something of me, like I can pick up that energy like when somebody
Yeah.
doesn't like you or when somebody has talked about you negatively. Um. And I'm not going to be mean, but when I'm warm and fuzzy, I'm warm and fuzzy and you know it. And like there is some what movie is this when like the sun shines brightly on somebody, it is bright and it is warm, but when the sun chooses not to show you that light, it is cold and it is dark. And I am not cold and dark, but I'm not always sunshiny. So that's going to look like maybe you get a half hug. Maybe you get a wave across the room instead of a I'm going to walk over and greet you directly. Like I'm going to be a little bit more reserved with how I'm using my energy.
Yeah.
As I think that's,
As you should
that's
be.
how we can protect ourselves.
Yep.
If you think I'm too much, go find less. I'll wave to you from across the room. It's cool. Like no hard feelings, but that's just where we are.
I love our little session today.
Isn't that great? What are we burning down? What does this mean? We're burning down.
Anyone who doesn't meet the bar that's on the ground.
The boundaries are on fire in a great way.
They are. And everybody should have boundaries. Every listener should have boundaries. We encourage boundaries. They're good. They're healthy.
I love it.
All right.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you, friend. Until next week.